properties of asymptotic notations. Okay, so there are two different properties of asymptotic notation. First, we will study the first property, then we will go with the second property. Mainly, these properties are based on the mathematical calculation. Okay, you'll be having certain theorems in your maths, right? Like same thing, you have to note down the mathematical calculations and you have to just prove it, that's all. So, those are the important properties mainly based on the maths formulas. Okay. The first one is very important property. If T1 of n belongs to, if T1 of n belongs to big O, look here, this is very important, big O of G1 of n and T2 of n belongs to big O of G2 of n, then very important, T1 of n plus T2 of n belongs to big O of maximum. Either it can be G1 of n or G2 of n. Okay, this is the important property of the first asymptotic notation. Okay, and practically where do we use this type of asymptotic notation or this property in our normal algorithms is, for example, I'll just tell you a practical example of this. Example, when you take, there will be certain thing like, I'll take two different algorithms. Two different algorithms will be having the same time complexity or space complexity. Okay, so there will be two different algorithms. This is just an example where we will be using this type of property. Two algorithms will be there. For example, I'll take binary search and some other searching algorithm. Okay, linear search. Okay, I'll take these two searching algorithms. These two searching algorithms will be having certain, they will be having certain time complexity big O. For example, this will be having n square and this will be having n. Okay, for example, just a simple example. Now I need to see which one will be the good algorithm to be implemented in your programs. Okay, so now you will get the time complexity of both and you have to see which one is good. So at that time, what we do, we apply this type of property and we see among these two, which one is the maximum. Okay, look here, n square is of course maximum because it is having the highest degree and n is lesser. So we take that up, we compare these two according to this property and we see binary search is a good algorithm than a linear search algorithm. Like this, we have to compare. So among these two, what is this? So you have to take this formula, big O of maximum of G of n, comma G2 of n. So among this, the maximum is n square. You have to compare and you have to take which is the big. Like this, you have to keep on taking we will be implementing this algorithm or this property to see whether which algorithm or same algorithms will be having good time complexity or not. Okay, this is what our algorithm. Now we have to prove this algorithm. How to prove this algorithm? Very important technique in proving this algorithm. You people have to note down the mathematical calculations. Okay, so this is what example I gave you. Okay, now we will just go with the proof of this algorithm. So before going the proof of this algorithm, I'll just ask you a simple question. Okay, look here, I'll just write one thing. You people have to tell me what is the answer of this. A1 and A2, comma B1 and beta. I will take four different variables. Okay, I'll write A1 is less than or equals to B1. A2 is less than or equals to B2. Okay, now I will add these two. A1 plus A2 is less than or equals to what? What would be the answer if I take B1 and B2? I'll just add it and I have to tell that A1, A2 is less than what? Can anyone give me the answer for this? This is the normal general
B1 plus B2.
answer. ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಹೇಳಿ ನನಗೆ, because this based on this
B1
only we have to prove this property.
B1 plus B2.
Not, it's not a B1 plus B2. You cannot just compare. You have to see this. You are comparing the two different variables. You can add A1 and A2 on the left hand side, but you cannot add the variables which are present on the right hand side to compare this. So to compare
B1
this, very, very important mathematical formula you have. Look here. This is a general mathematical formula to compare two different variables. Okay, this is a general mathematical term. Look here, this is very, very important. Based on this, we can solve the problem. Okay, this is general term I'm telling you, that's all. Okay, look here, you can take two variables A1, A2, B1 and B2. Compare A1 less than B1, A2 is less than B2. When you add A1 and plus A2, it should be always less than or equals to 2 times maximum. It can be either B1 or B2. Okay, so this is how we need to compare, because you are adding A1 and A2. A1 plus A2 is less than or equals, because this term should be lesser than always the right hand side, right? So to make it lesser than, you have to take 2 maximum. So it can be anything, maximum of B1 and B2. Whichever the maximum in B1 and B2, you can take, and it should be 2 times. Okay, because this should be always smaller than the right hand side, right? So this is a general term to prove this property. Okay, now this question is given. Look here, can you see this, whatever I have written? T1 of n belongs to big O of G1 of n. T2 of n belongs to big O of G2 of n. Now, this is what big O asymptotic notation, right? So, can you tell me the formula for big O? Anyone?
Fn equals to big O of G of n.
So f of n is less than, or it's not equals to, it's less than or equals to big O of G of n. That is a formula you people have to remember. When you have a big O, you have to write those formulas. Okay, that is very, very important. Remember those formulas which I have explained in the beginning. So this is what example I gave you. This is a normal general mathematical example. Now based on this, we have to prove this formula. So given that T of n belongs to big O of G1 of n. So we have to write, what is this? We have to write T1 of n is less than or equals to C1 of G1 of n. Do you remember this? This is what f of n we had taken, but here we are taking T of n, that's all. Okay, so it is G of n where n is greater than or equals to n1. Okay, then you have T2 of n belongs to big O of G2 of n. So for this, what we have to write? T2 of n is less than or equals to C2 of G2 of n. Okay, so this is very, very important formulas. We have already seen these two formulas. This is very important formula. So when you get this big O, you have to represent this in form of this. We have proved already. We have gone through all these formulas in the beginning itself. Okay, and where n is less than or equals to n naught. So this is what you'll get. This is the first one and this is the second one. Now you need to add these two, that's all. Add these two and you have to get the answer. Before that, what we do is, there is a simple assumption. Okay, assume, this is the mathematical term, C3 is equals to C1 plus C2. Okay, this is what, because there is C1 over here and C2 over here. Instead of C1 and C2, they are taking it as C3 because to find out the maximum. This is assumption. Okay, now we will add 1 and 2. Okay, we have to add 1 and 2. That is what? T1 of n plus T2 of n is less than or equals to C1 of G1 of n plus C2 of G2 of n. We have to add. Just take this first one and take this second one. Add those two and you will get this. Okay, now C1 and C2 are given. We are assuming that C1 and C2 is equals to C3. Okay, so instead of C1 and C2, you can write it as C3 of G1 of n plus C3 of G2 of n. Okay, So this can be what? You can take this as what? C3 of G1 of n plus G2 of n. That is, you can take C3 as a common from all the two terms and you can represent. So finally, you got this. So what is that? You got this. Finally, you have what? C3 is of G1 plus G2. And here I had written one term here. Look here. A1 plus A2 is less than or equals to 2 maximum of B1 plus B2. Now you need to add, because you're adding T1 plus T2, you cannot directly add these two terms directly. You cannot add. So for that purpose, what we are doing, we are taking this as common, and you people have to represent this in normal form like this. G1 of n, comma, G2 of n. So this is the term which is we have proved. Okay, this is how you have to write and you have to prove this property. Okay, so this is the first property of asymptotic notation. First one is, look here, this is the property, very important question. T1 of n belongs to big O of G1 of n and T2 of n belongs to big O of G2 of n. Then you have to show that T1 of n plus, look here, plus this one, T1 of n plus T2 of n belongs to big O of maximum of G1 of n comma G2 of n. Okay, this is just a simple example I gave you. After this, what you have to write is directly come to this. This is the proof. Okay, from here you have to write. From here. So start writing from here. Adala enu bekagilla. Don't write those and all. This is the proof. Okay. Okay. So T1 of n belongs to big O of G1 of n. This is the formula for big O. And T2 of n belongs to big O of G2 of n. This is the formula of T2 of n. Now you have to assume C3 is equal to C1 plus C2. And finally add both the terms T1 of n and T2 of n. You'll get this. Okay. So adding those, you'll get this. Take C1 and C2 as common. You'll take represent it as C3. Okay. And this is just a thing. You can skip this. Okay. To take it as common and represent it, as I told you in the last, A1 plus A2, you have to take this C3 as common and you have to write it as 2 maximum of G1 of n comma G2 of n. Okay. So this is the first property, very important property. You people have to go through this, very important question. Okay. Now I'll give you one simple example. Can anyone tell me what, based on this property, there is one simple example. Okay. So you people have to tell me which one will be the correct answer for that now. So if a sorting algorithm used first part no more than, look here, there is two different sorting algorithms. Example I'm giving, which would be the maximum, which would be the best asymptotic, you have to show it to me. Okay. Two sorting algorithms. One is having comparisons 1 by 2 n into n minus 1 comparisons, and you will get big O of n square. Okay. Next sorting algorithm, second algorithm. This is the first algorithm, second algorithm, which makes n minus 1 comparisons, and you have big O of n. Okay. So now, what will be the maximum? What will be the good algorithm among these two? So overall,
First one, ma'am.
yeah, overall efficiency, what you have to do is you have to find in this way. What you have to do is first, generally telling first one is good is easy. But what you have to do is when they ask you, you people have to write this. 0, you have to write that big O of what? You'll get maximum of this one. This you have to write G1 of n comma G2 of n. So maximum of what? Maximum of n square comma n. So what is the answer you'll get? So this is maximum of this is big O of n square. So efficiency of this algorithm is big O of n square. This is how we need to find out the maximum among these two and write the answer. Okay. So this is the first property. Now we will go with the second property where we will be using limits in the second property. Okay, using limits for comparison of order or growth. This is what order, big O of whatever we read. These are all known as asymptotic notations, or even these are also known as order or growth. Anything you can specify. Okay. Now we will go with the second one. Very, very important property. Again, second property, using the limits for comparison. Very important topic. Here, what happens is the same thing. Whatever the property we proved the last time, the last property, here also same thing, but we will be using the limits. That's all. Okay. So the formal definitions of big O, theta, omega are used for comparison order of growth. Here mainly what we do is mainly we use the limits to find out the order of growth. And in that limits, very important thing is we use limits, and we will be using big O, theta and omega are used for comparisons. So just we have to compare which one is good, which one is bad and all. We have to compare. We will be using big O, theta and omega. Okay, so for that we have three important principal comparisons. So the three important principal properties are T of n and G of n. We have very, very important three properties. That is very, very important thing. Limit of T of n divided by G of n tends to infinity. We have very, very three important properties. This you have to note down. Okay, this is very, very important. You'll get 0, you'll get a constant C, you will get 3 important, that is one more is infinity. So this is what T of n has the smaller bound when it is having 0. 0 is nothing but implies that T of n, this 0, this you have to remember, implies that T of n is smaller than G of n. Okay, so T of n is smaller than G of n. Then a constant C implies, this is very, very important, implies that T of n is equal to G of n. This is very, very important. You people have to note down. And infinity implies that T of n is what? Higher. T of n is bigger. It will be, infinity means it will be big, right? Higher than G of n. So these are the three important properties you have to note down. And very, very important thing, this is very, very important thing you people have to see that. Look here, big O, that is, sorry, 0 and constant C implies that this is a smaller and is equal to, right? So when you have these two, whenever T1 and G2 are either 0 or constant, you can easily tell, okay, either it is 0 or C, you can easily tell it belongs to big O notation. Okay, and either if your answer is either constant or infinity, you can tell it belongs to omega. This you people have to keep. This is an extra knowledge, whatever I am telling you. Okay, and it is just a constant. It is just a constant. When it is just a C, it is nothing but it is equal to. So it is nothing but theta. This is a technical question they'll ask you. Okay, when T1 and G1 are 0 and it is C, either it is 0 or constant, it belongs to big O. Either it is constant or infinity, it belongs to omega. It is just a constant, none of the other, this, it belongs to theta, because it is an average, right? Theta is an average bound. Okay, so now based on this, I'll just write up one simple example for you. Okay, Based on this, what they'll ask you, they'll just, you have to show the property, you have to write these three properties and you have to show with an example, that's all. Idikenu proof illa. Okay, you have to show that with an example. Okay, so we will take two important bounds, that is two different functions. Very, very important thing. First function, okay, t of n is equals to 1 by 2 n into n minus 1, and one more function g of n is equals to n square. So you have to find out what bound does this, where these two functions exist, either it is belonging to this function, either it belonging to this property, or whether it belongs to infinity. You have to find. The question they'll ask you is two different functions are given, tell, show which bound these two functions belong to anta keltare. You people have to answer. So now t1 of n is given and t2 of n is given like this. What you have to do is, so see this, t1 of 1 by 2 n into n minus 1 and g of n equals to n square. So these two functions are given. Now you have to find which bound these two functions belong to, whether it is belonging to big O, or it is belonging to C, or it is belonging to theta. Now what we have to do is, we have to calculate this with the help of limits. Okay, so we have the formula, limit n tends to infinity, t of n divided by g of n. Okay, now we have to take these two formula. What is this? Look here, this is half n into n minus 1 divided by g of n is n square. Okay, now what we have to do, you can multiply this, right? N into n minus 1, just multiply this, and since half is a constant, according to our limits, what we can do, we can take that outside, right? We can take this and we can represent half limit of n tends to infinity, multiply that, n square minus n divided by n square. This is what we get, right? Now can anyone tell me what will be the answer, final answer for this? Okay, now solve this. Harish?
0.
0 now. In this formula, see, n square minus n divided by n square. What you can do in this?
Split the terms, ma'am.
Yeah, you just take n square as a common. Okay.
Ma'am, we can write it as 1 minus 1 by n.
Yeah, that is what. We have to take n as a common thing. That is 1 minus. So you just take it as a common, n square. So when you take an n square as a common thing, what you'll get? 1 minus 1 by n you will get. Remove that. Divide. N square by n square minus 1 n divided by n square. So what I do is, I'll just take this as 1 by 2 limit n tends to infinity. I can write this as 1 minus 1 divided by n, right? N square by n square minus n divided by n square is what? Cancel it. That's all. Look here, n square by n square minus n divided by n square. Divide this, that's all. You'll get 1, and here 1 by n, right? So this is the formula you'll get. Now, since we are applying the limits, it's n tends to infinity. Always according to your mathematical formula, when you apply a limits, always remember that whatever the constant you get here in our bounding, that is either it is big O or theta or anything I told you, whenever you have a constant, very important thing is you have to consider this constant in this limits. Whenever you multiply one constant with limit, the answer will always be a constant, right? Answer will be a constant. Very, very important. So now this function half of n into n minus 1 and n square belongs to which bound? So this is belonging to the second bound because there is a constant over here. See this? So this belongs to this C. C implies that T of n is equal to G of n. So I can write, since there is an answer is a constant, I can write there is a constant T of n is equal to G of n. This is how you have to prove and you have to tell. Ee tara madbeku now. Okay. Understood? This is how we need to prove any two functions are given. You have to take the limits formula, apply t of n divided by g of n, and apply the limits, and finally you have to prove this. Okay, this is one simple example I told you. Now, for example, you may be having infinity. This one. Look here, very, very important. This one. Third one. This third one, when you have this infinity, many times, whenever you have an infinity, when the function tends to infinity, it will be very difficult for a person to show the answer properly. So at that time, what happens? They have given one important proof for that. Very, very important thing you people have to remember. For infinity, they have given one more formula. Okay, this is how we have to take two examples, two functions, and we have to prove whether t of n is smaller or t of n is larger. Like that you have to do. Okay, that is very, very important thing. Then apart from this, when you have infinity, when sometimes you have infinity and you're not able to solve that problem properly, so at that time they have given very, very important formula for infinity. You have to write this one also. Very, very important. When they give, there is for infinity, you have L Hospital's rule for infinity. This is very, very important. Okay, so what is that? Limit of n tends to infinity, t of n divided by g of n is equals to limit of n tends to infinity transpose of g of n divided by t of n divided by g of n. This is what a L'Hospital's formula. This you people have to keep in your mind. Especially this is mainly used whenever you have the bound as infinity. Okay, and this rule mainly is used whenever you have factorial terms. Whenever you have function, either you have t of n or g of n as a factorial, one function is given which is factorial, you can use this L'Hospital's rule, especially when the function is factorial. Okay, this you people have to keep in your mind. And when the function, whenever you are using factorials in the formula, I mean either if it is t of n or g of n, mainly at that time we use this L'Hospital's rule. Other than that, we will not use this L'Hospital's rule. And whenever you have a formula like this, n factorial, you have to substitute that n factorial with this formula. Look here, n factorial is square root of 2 pi n into n divided by e to the power n for larger values of n. This is very, very important. Only when you have factorial in your problem, or when they ask you about factorial thing, you have to substitute that factorial with this. That's all. Okay, this is how when they ask you the proof for limits, you people have to write these t of n comma g of n, limit of n tends to infinity, t of n divided by g of n. 0 implies that t of n is smaller. If it is constant c, implies that t of n is equal to, and if it is infinity, implies that it is higher than this. After this, directly you come to this. I gave you example. After infinity, you just come to, when there is an infinity problem, you people have to use L'Hospital's rule. For infinity, write this and write the formula. If it is for n factorial, you can use this on sentence bardi, you can just write this, that's all. That is a proof for the second property. And after that, you have to prove like this. You have to take one simple example. You just write a sentence like this. T1 is given half of n into n minus 1 and g1 equals to n square. Compare the orders of growth. They'll ask you. Okay, like this you have to solve this, and you can tell, since this is a constant, I'm comparing T1 and g of n. So telling that T1 is equal to g of n. This is the order of growth for this function. Okay. Now I'll give you one more example. You people have to tell me what will be the example for, what will be the output for this example. So the order of growths. This is how they'll ask you. Compare the order of growth. First function, log of n, log, okay, base 2 and root of n. And I'll give one more example. Second example, compare like that. Whatever I did in the previous example, same thing you have to do. Compare growth of n factorial and 2 to the power n. Okay. So for this, what you have to do is, for this question, log n divided by base 2 on square root of n, it always tends to infinity. Okay, because there is a log, n is given in the formula. So this will always tends to infinity, this question. So you have to apply L hospital rule for this. Okay, L hospital rule apply madi, you have to solve for this like this. You have to apply this. Apply this one, this term over here, and you have to solve. And this one, n factorial and 2 to the power n. Since n factorial is there, you have to solve it using L Hospital's rule. But what is a very important thing is, wherever n factorial is L, substitute n factorial with this formula, that's all. This one also you have to solve with L Hospital's rule. First one also you have to solve with L Hospital's rule. Okay. So that is what you have to show me. What will be the growth? Whether T of n is smaller than G of n, or T of n is equal to G of n, or T of n is higher than G of n. You people have to show it to me. So these two properties are very important, and this is very, very important. These three problems, whatever I have given here, these are the repeated questions in the question paper. Very, very important. Idne jasti keludin, jasti more of the, they'll not give any other problems. They'll ask this only more. Okay. So this is what for today's class. I think you people understood. So I'll just wind up the class for today. Thank you.